Krishna Varnam, repeating the syllables Krishna, Tusha, with a luster, Krishnam, not black, golden, Sa-anga, along with associates, Upa-anga, servitors, Astra, weapons, Parshadam, confidential companions, Yagyahi, by sacrifice, Sankirtana Prayahi, consisting chiefly of congregational chanting. Yajanti, they worship. He, certainly. Sumedasaha, intelligent persons. Translation. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Please repeat. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Purport by Zivange, Sesi Bhakti, no, sorry, in the, those who compiled this commentary after Srila Prabhupada, disciples of Srila Prabhupada. This same verse is quoted by Krishnadas Kaviraj in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 3, verse 52. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada has given the following commentary on this verse. So they are quoting from Chaitanya Charitamrita commentary, giving the same sloka. Commentary by Srila Prabhupada. This text is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th Skanda, 5th chapter, 32nd sloka. Srila Jiva Goswami has explained this verse in his commentary on the Bhagavatam, known as the Krama Sandarbha, wherein he says that Lord Krishna also appears with a golden complexion. That golden Lord Krishna is Lord Chaitanya, who is worshipped by intelligent men in this age. That is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam by Garga Muni, who said that although this child Krishna was blackish, he also appears in 3 other colors, red, white, and yellow. He exhibited his white and red complexions in the Satya and Treta ages, respectively. He did not exhibit the remaining color, yellow or gold, until he appeared as Lord Chaitanya, who is known as Gaura Hari. Srila Jiva Goswami explains that Krishna Varnam means Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Krishna Varnam and Krishna Chaitanya are equivalent. The name Krishna appears with both Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Krishna. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he always engages in describing Krishna and thus enjoying transcendental bliss by chanting and remembering his name and form. Lord Krishna himself appears as Lord Chaitanya to preach the highest gospel. Varnayati means utters or describes. Lord Chaitanya always chants the holy name of Krishna and describes it also. And because he is Krishna himself, whoever meets him will automatically chant the holy name of Krishna and later describe it to others. He injects one with transcendental Krishna consciousness, which merges the chanter in transcendental bliss. In all respects, therefore, he appears before everyone as Krishna, either by personality or by sound. Simply by seeing Lord Chaitanya, one at once remembers Lord Krishna. One may therefore accept him as Vishnu Tattva. In other words, Lord Chaitanya is Lord Krishna himself. Sango Pangastra Parshadam further indicates that Lord Chaitanya is Lord Krishna. His body is always decorated with ornaments and ornaments of sandalwood and with sandalwood paste. By his super excellent beauty, he subdues all the people of the age. In other descents, the Lord sometimes used weapons to defeat the demoniac, but in this age, the Lord subdues them with his all-attractive figure as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Jiva Goswami explains that his beauty is his astra, or weapon, to subdue the demons. Because he is all-attractive, it is to be understood that all the demigods lived with him as his companions. His acts were uncommon and his associates wonderful. When he propagated the Sankirtan movement, he attracted many great scholars and acharyas, especially in Bengal and Orissa. Lord Chaitanya is always accompanied by his best associates like Lord Nityananda, Advaita, Gadadhara, and Srivasa. Srila Jiva Goswami cites a verse from the Vedic literature that says that there is no necessity of performing sacrificial demonstrations or ceremonial functions. He comments that instead of engaging in such external, pompous exhibitions, all people, regardless of caste, color, or creed, can assemble together and chant Hare Krishna to worship Lord Chaitanya. Krishna Varnam, Tushar Krishnam, indicates that prominence should be given to the name Krishna. Lord Chaitanya taught Krishna consciousness and chanted the name of Krishna. Therefore, to worship Lord Chaitanya, everyone should together chant the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. To propagate worship in churches, temples, or mosques is not possible because people have lost interest in that. But anywhere and everywhere, people can chant Hare Krishna. Thus, worshipping Lord Chaitanya, they can perform the highest activity and fulfill the highest religious purpose of satisfying the Supreme Lord. Srila Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, a famous disciple of Lord Chaitanya, said, "The principle of transcendental devotional service having been lost, Sri Krishna Chaitanya has appeared to deliver again the process of devotion. He is so kind that he is distributing love of Krishna. Everyone should be attracted more and more to his lotus feet, as humming bees are attracted to a lotus flower." The incarnation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also described in the Sri Vishnu Sahasranam Stotra, which appears in chapter 189 of the Dharma Parva of Mahabharata. Srila Jiva Goswami has quoted this reference as follows: Suvarna Varno Hemango Varangas Chandanang Gadi. In his early pastimes, he appears as a householder with a golden complexion. His limbs are beautiful, and his body, smeared with the pulp of sandalwood, seems like molten gold. He has also quoted from the same Sahasranam, Vishnu Sahasranam, Sannyasa Krit Shama Santo Nishta Santi Parayanaha. In his later pastimes, he accepts the sannyas order, and he is equiposed and peaceful. He is the highest abode of peace and devotion, for he silences the impersonalist non-devotees. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Sarakaya Chakshuranmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakam Vitanscha. Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Padamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatrupasya Kripa Sindhu Bhyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we are very fortunate to go to this shloka, which is so famous, especially among the Hare Krishna devotees, Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, where the Muni, Karabhajana Muni, is explaining to King Nimi the various incarnations of Godhead. Sometimes I remember we had conversations with the also great Munis and Pandits from the Madhva Sampradaya. But when we talk about Lord Chaitanya as an incarnation in Kali Yuga, they say, no. In Kali Yuga, Krishna is not coming as avatar. There is no incarnation of Krishna in this age. They say he is Tri-Yuga. The name of Krishna is Tri-Yuga. So Tri-Yuga, of course, is there in the Srimad Bhagavatam, where Prahlad, I think Prahlad Maharaj is describing also the avatar of Lord Krishna at Tri-Yuga. But then he says that, but as Jiva Goswami has mentioned in his Sandarbhas, that the deity worship is fruitful when accompanied by Harinam Sankirtan. Otherwise, it will be simply, as Prabhupada says here in the comments, as a pompous exercise, pompous display. We are building gorgeous temples. The main activity in the temple, Harinam Sankirtan, the Yuga Dharma, and that is being supported by the deity worship and by the propagation of the teachings of Lord Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, and Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is the main activity to be performed by all the members of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, ISKCON included. And sometimes the other people, outside people, when they see devotees chanting Hare Krishna Sankirtan in the street, they have no idea, what is this? So they call them, these are the Hare Krishnas, or these are the Krishnas. So they give the name of Hare Krishna or Krishna to the devotees. So in this way, they are also repeating, they are hearing and they are repeating the name of Krishna. So that is the power of the Sankirtan movement in Kali Yuga. So many anecdotes of the power of the Hare Krishna come to the mind, have been written down by many disciples, I remember one which is very, very wonderful, that in Switzerland is very strict country. The law and order is very strict. There is no army. Just like everywhere in the world, there's some army. But there is no army, but there is a police department for in the country. And they have very strict rules. And so, among all the rules, noise pollution, and so many other things. So, sometimes the disciples performing Nagar Kirtan in Switzerland, like in Geneva, and when the police is seeing this, they are thinking, this is too much noise. So they arrest the disciples and they keep them in the lockdown, in the police lockdown. Well, that is not very serious. At least for one day, they'll be kept in the lockdown as a lesson, so that they may not repeat again afterwards, just as a lesson. And what they will do, devotee will go to the lockdown, what they will do? They'll have kirtan. So kirtan is going on either in the street or in the lockdown, no, in lockup, not lockdown, lockup. Police lockup. And when the police is, oh no, again they are doing kirtan here, oh no, let them go. Let them go. So in this way, just for a few minutes in the lockup and then again in the outside streets. So that is the wonderful aspect of Harinam Sankirtan. We could also mention hundreds of such examples how Harinam Sankirtan is really the Yuga Dharma. Everything else is practically no use. Everything is impure. You may think you are doing some great yajna, and so you invite pure brahmanas, very nicely dressed, very nice Brahmin Yajnopavit, and very impressive. And then you gather all the ingredients, your wood is there, and pure cow ghee from the market, and so many other ingredients are there. So the brahmanas will tell you, oh, you do this, and they will prepare everything, they will light the fire and everything. But actually, nothing is pure. Nothing is pure, and it will have no effect. No effect. The ingredients are not pure, and even the brahmanas, although they seem impressive, but they are also not pure. So that is the problem in Kali Yuga. There is only one thing pure, that is holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That is the only pure item in Kali Yuga. Therefore, one should always chant the holy names of the Lord, as mentioned in all the Vedic scriptures. How can we avoid this? If anyone wants to avoid, he is simply committing suicide, not seeing the truth in front of his eyes. Everything is very clear. And it is so simple, so easy, so blissful. There are no rules, no regulation. Nam namakari bahuda nila sarva shaktis tatra pita niyameta smarane kala. Etadrisi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi durdaivami drishyamiha janina nuraga. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking just like ordinary person, although the holy name has been given to us without any rules, anywhere, anytime, anyhow, by anybody. Everybody can chant the holy name Hare Krishna. But even though it is so blissful and so wonderful, but unfortunately Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I have no taste for it. So that is the pitiful condition of people of Kali Yuga. Somehow they have to be made fortunate by receiving the holy names and that it has to enter their ear. And then from the hearing, it will go to the heart. If the Suddhanam, pure holy name, sound vibration is coming to the ear, it will go to the heart. And then it will come again to the lips. So Shravanam Kirtanam, that is how the holy name is received and chanted. So again, a personal memory that I had when I visited the head of the Telugu translation, Mr. Divakarla Venkatavadani. He's also some type of Muni. He was the head of a Sanskrit department and Telugu, Osma University. He was the appointed teacher for all the IAS officers in Andhra Pradesh for teaching Telugu. He was residing nearby in Barkatpura, so he was translating Bhagavad Gita into Telugu language. So he was famous as a very great Pandit. Venkata Avadani means that he can, Sata Avadani, he can enter into a debate with 100 Prichaka. Prichaka means they will ask questions. Even together, 1, 2, 3 will ask the questions, and he will answer to this question one after another, like this. Venkatavadani. So very famous. And so I wanted to tell him a little bit about our philosophy, because our Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy in Andhra Pradesh is not well known. At that time, at least, it was not well known. Only very, very few Gaudiya Math may be there, but the propagation was not as it is now. And so I thought he doesn't know our philosophy, so he should know something. So I started to tell him that in Kali Yuga, there is the Yuga Dharma, is a Harinam Sankirtan. He should know that. So yes, immediately, then yes, he accepted. And immediately he quoted from Mahabharata, Nanaya. Nanaya, very famous Telugu poet, I think from 13th century, who composed Mahabharata into Telugu language. And so he knew very well Nanaya's Mahabharata, and that particular passage, quotation he gave, I forgot the quotation in Telugu. Actually, it would be very good to record that quotation. We have to consult Nanaya's original Telugu, and it can be kept on the wall, Telugu language, quotation from Mahabharata. That comes from a conversation between Bhima and Hanuman, when Bhima is going for that Sugandha, in the Himalaya, near the in the mountains, and he sees one tail on the road, and he not crossing the tail, he wants to move the tail, he's not able to move anything. What is this? Then Hanuman is showing himself. Bhima is Hanuman, incarnation of Hanuman in Dwapara Yuga. So, Hanuman, Treta Yuga, Bhima, Dwapara Yuga. So, together they are meeting by the grace of Lord Krishna, and they enter into conversation, friendly conversation. And Bhima is asking from Hanuman, what are the incarnations of Godhead in the different yugas? Just like the same question that King Nimi is asking here. And Hanuman is answering to that. And Hanuman is mentioning that in Krita Yuga, the white incarnation, then Treta Yuga, the red incarnation, and then in Dwapara, the blackish incarnation, and in Kali Yuga, the white or golden incarnation, and the Yuga Dharma for Kali Yuga is Harinam Sankirtan. So that quotation given by our head translator, Divakala Venkatabadani, at that time. I was very much surprised because I had never heard this quotation from Mahabharata. That was very enlivening to hear this in this way. On many places throughout the Vedic literature, the same is mentioned that in Kali Yuga, only Harinam Sankirtan. Here, Jiva Goswami is giving many other quotations also, just like from Vishnu Sahasranam. That is very famous also, that these are the names of Vishnu. So there is no dispute about that. So, Suvarna Varno Hemango Varangas Kandanangadi. So that refers to that incarnation of Lord Vishnu who is appearing completely covered with chandan. And according to the statements of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat, the associates of Lord Chaitanya, when he was in Mayapur, Navadvip, every day they used to cover his body with chandan. So the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is famous for that. Then again, Sanyasa Krit Shama Santo Nishta Santi Parayana. Have you ever heard Vishnu taking sannyas? No. Where is this Vishnu taking sannyas? Sanyasa Krit Shama. No, Vishnu is never sannyasi. He may be a brahmachari as Brahmanadev and so on, but not a sannyasi. Where is a sannyasi? Only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a sannyas, Lord Vishnu taking sannyas. He is the only example. So this clearly refers to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and no other Vishnu Murti. He is the only one. In this way, from this Vishnu Sahasranam, that is very well known, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inaugurated the Sankirtan movement as described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that he had gone to Gaya to offer Pinda to his father. There he had opportunity to meet Iswarapuri, and he took Diksha from Iswarapuri. Iswarapuri, disciple of Madhavendra Puri, told Lord Chaitanya was the greatest Pandit in Navadvip. So the early part of his life described as Vidya Vilas. Vidya Vilas means the pastime. Lila. What was a Lila? Vidya Lila. Engaged in debates with all his friends and pandits, teachers, students. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to engage in debates. So you tell something, I tell the opposite. I tell the same thing that you told, the same thing, and I will counter it. In this way, all debates were going on every day. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so expert in Vidya Vilas. Then, but after going to take Diksha from Iswarapuri, he became a changed person in the sense that a new Leela entered. That is the starting point of the Sankirtan. Iswarapuri told him that you are a very famous Pandit, but actually, truly speaking, you are a fool number one. You don't know anything. You cannot speak, you cannot understand Vedanta, and therefore you only sadhana, only thing you can do, you just chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Vaikevaram, Kalau Nastyeva, Gatir, Anyata, Kali Santarana Upanishad. So in this way, Ishwarapuri taught Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you simply chant the holy names of Krishna and you will achieve all perfection. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started to chant, going back to Navadvip, but he lost his way. While chanting, became absent-minded, became mad after the holy names, didn't know where to go. So in this way, but gradually he came back to Navadvip and he was completely different. What they had seen, what they knew about Chaitanya, Vishwambar, he was completely different now. Constantly chanting the holy names of Krishna and becoming mad or in ecstasy, completely in separation from Krishna, exhibiting all the symptoms of love of Krishna. So then they decided, now we'll have kirtan. But the Sankirtan at that time was to be made secret because it was something new and the society at that time was quite conservative and they would not admit any new dharma. They had their own process, smarta, and they would not accept anything else than that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and others, they decided every day we'll go to the house of Srivas and have a kirtan there in the night in the heart of Srivas Pandit. So nobody will disturb and we'll have a kirtan throughout the night. In this way we shall have this divine experience. So all the intimate associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as described here, the Parshadam means intimate, eternal associates, such as Gadadhar Pandit, Srivas Pandit, Advaita Acharya, and then afterwards, of course, Nityananda Prabhu came after. So they started the Sankirtan. That was the beginning. In a secret, at night, well, nobody should come and disturb. That was the beginning. And then gradually, then it came out. They also started Sankirtan outside in the city. They're walking along. So then at that time, opposition came from the opposite party, the Smartas, and they complained to the Kasi. And the Kasi broke the mridangas and they arrested Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to the Kasi and they had a conversation. In a friendly mood, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was able to convince the Kasi that it is according to our Vedic scriptures that the Sankirtan in Kali Yuga should be performed. So you should not object to that. You should not put any obstacle. So this conversation ended in a friendly note, but then I think that was the night before. The night before, the Kasi in dream saw the Lord Narasimha, in his heart, became very much afraid. So he understood that this is very serious. So in this way, the Kasi made a promise. I will never stop the Sankirtan, and my successors, my descendants, son, grandson in the future, no one in my family will stop the Sankirtan movement. That is a promise he made. In this way, the Kasi is being worshipped in Mayapur for this great promise that he gave to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the only opposition was from the Smarta. Again, even when Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati had this Navadvip Parikrama doing Sankirtan throughout, there also at that time, the same party, Smarta party, they also objected and they had a plan to kill Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. So there is opposition, but there is a movement. Sankirtan movement means that cannot be stopped. That nobody can stop ultimately the Sankirtan movement because that is the Yuga Dharma. And it is started by Krishna himself. Krishna Varnam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is described, Krishna Varnam, that is, he is always chanting Krishna, the two syllables. Varna has two meanings. One meaning is syllable, and the other meaning is description. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is uttering Krishna, and he is also describing the glories of Krishna. Therefore, Krishna Varnam. Of course, another meaning, Krishna Varnam is color. But here, according to context, it doesn't mean color. Krishna Varnam, Trisha are Krishna.